Next on Worcester News tonight, the quick thinking of a student with autism helped save his bus driver's life. He says the Berlin Police Department encouraged him to be brave. Plus, a blind taste test names a Worcester brewery's IPA the best in the state. The March Madness-style bracket is putting Greater Good on top. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Olivia Lemon. A teenager with autism is being called a hero for his quick response in an emergency situation earlier this week. 15-year-old Michael Gomez sprung into action when his bus driver was facing a medical emergency on their way to school Tuesday, which is also World Autism Awareness Day. Our Cam Jandro spoke with Michael earlier and has the story.
When Michael Gomez saw his bus driver becoming ill Tuesday morning, he knew he had to step in.
I could notice that he really had to take one breath in order to speak through the radio, so I knew there was something wrong with him.
The 15-year-old Clinton resident was the only one on the bus heading to Summit Academy in Worcester. The driver was having a heart attack.
I ran right inside the building. The speech teacher said, "It's not time to come in yet." But I said, "I know it's not, but this is an actual emergency."
The school called 911 and the driver was taken to the hospital. He's expected to be okay. Gomez is living with autism. When asked where he built up the courage, he pointed to the special Berlin police badge he was wearing for Autism Awareness Month.
The patch had nothing to do with him doing what he did. And I told him it's all what's in here and that he has that ability in him.
He handled himself very well. Sesta got all the information that he needed, went in and got the necessary help that he needed and got 911 there.
Friday, Gomez visited the station and spent the afternoon with Berlin police. Detective Kevin Trongone has a 17-year-old son living with autism. Michael's story hit home for the veteran officer.
He truly is a hero. There's no other way to say it. And he was able to communicate to the right people at the right time.
Michael says he wants to be an EMT one day. Now, he has his first patient under his belt.
Being on Autism Awareness Day and in the month, it just shows that what these kids are capable of doing.
It also made me felt like I was a first responder as well, because I actually was.
Now on Sunday, April 14th, Michael will be formally recognized at a fundraiser for the Autism Resource Center of Central Massachusetts. The event will take place at the Draft House in West Boylston and is open to anyone willing to buy a ticket. Olivia?
What a great story. Thank you, Cam. The owner of a Southborough used car dealership turns himself in to Westboro District Court after police issued a warrant for his arrest. Police say 32-year-old Venetia Souza received payments for cars and then took off. Customers who showed up to Right Way Auto Sales Thursday were met with a locked door. Souza is charged with 3 counts of larceny over $1,200. He was released on personal recognizance and is due back in court at a later date. A truck fire on Route 146 in Sutton causes heavy traffic delays this evening. Cell phone video shows first responders on scene working to put out the flames. It's unclear how the truck caught fire or if there were any injuries. All lanes of 146 are back open. State leaders are advocating for funding for Blackstone Valley Technical High School. Senator Michael Moore and others are encouraging the Becker administration to release $4 million in funding to support the school's expansion. He says the funding would allow the school to let more students in, expand classroom space, and the addition of 2 new vocational programs. Moore says businesses in the technical field are always looking for more employees.
Of our manufacturing, the need of the economic growth of the area to give the employees the workforce that they need so that they can hire and expand and grow. And right now the school doesn't have the capacity to handle the amount of students that are trying to obtain these skills.
And the funding was authorized as part of a bond bill passed by the legislature and signed into law by the governor last year. The money now just needs to be released. Becker College holds its inauguration for their 11th president Friday. Dr. Nancy Crimmin is the first female president in the college's history. As our Chandler Wall shows us, hundreds came up to the celebration to show their support.
Becker students cheer as Dr. Nancy Crimmin enters for her inauguration. The Leicester campus gymnasium was covered in its school color blue, packed with Crimmin's family, colleagues, and hundreds of community members.
It really is a point in time where we mark our history and we move forward with a vision.
Crimmin, who's already served for a year and a half, is the college's 11th president and the school's first female president.
I love the fact that I am the first female president, but I'm the first female president who's also just as effective as any other president.
This is the real deal. You know, this is a woman who has worked really hard.
Lieutenant Governor Karen Polito says it's great to see women doing well in high positions.
Nancy is a real change agent and someone who came up through the ranks over the past 5 or 6 years to the leadership at this college.
Students showed support. The women's ice hockey team was among a group wearing inauguration t-shirts.
We've had a lot of interest in it, so we've been trying to figure out where to park, how to get here, what time. We came early because we knew it was going to be busy.
Claudia G. says Crimmin is always supporting them, coming to their games, and they knew they needed to do the same.
Right now, especially in hockey, there's a lot of politics going on about women in sport and gender equality. So I think seeing President Crimmin coming and being the full president and being inaugurated today is really good for just like a political change, but also just for her herself.
Crimmin hopes this milestone is an inspiration to her female students. She's already working to make an impact, launching a strategic plan and adding new majors and programs.
We started 2 new schools, School of Humanities and Social Sciences, and then we rebranded our accelerated division to be the School of Graduate and Professional Studies. So that's just the tip of the iceberg.
And the theme of Crimmin's inaugural address was leading through authenticity, commitment, and vision. She wants her students to know they come first. In Worcester, Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
All right, thank you, Chandler. More than 100 blind taste testers name a Worcester-made IPA the best in the state. Mass Brew Brothers did a March Madness-style bracket with 104 tasters trying 48 different IPAs from breweries across the state. Pulp Daddy, an IPA from Greater Good Imperial Brewing, was the winner. The beers were IPAs of various styles, but Greater Goods, described as, quote, nectar of the hop gods, came out on top.
It's built off of the pulp recipe from one of the first recipes that we ever brewed, and we just kind of jacked up the haze, jacked up the fruit, citrus, aromas, all that good stuff. Made it a real hazy New England style beer that everybody's is pretty sought after right now.
Being open a year and having had our beer in the market for just a few years compared with some of the other breweries that were involved that are such big recognizable names, it was almost unbelievable.
And Greater Good is about to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of opening its Worcester brewery and tap room. An area hospital becomes the first in the area to perform an aortic valve replacement through a patient's arm. It's typically done through the groin, but as our Rosalind Flaherty explains, doctors say this new technique results in less scarring and recovery time.
This patient had his aortic valve replaced. Doctors at UMass Memorial Medical Center were able to do the procedure through the artery, which brings blood to his arm. The hospital is the only one in the area capable of doing it.
The artery to the arm, and it's unclear to me exactly why, but it tends to be less diseased.
Dr. NIKOLAOS KAKOUROS is a cardiologist at UMass Memorial Medical Center. The procedure is called transcatheter aortic valve replacement, or TAVR. It's a way of replacing the aortic valve in the heart without doing open heart surgery. The procedure is done for those who are too sick to get open heart surgery or those who want a less invasive approach.
The aortic valve is the main valve of the heart. It's the valve that has to open to allow the heart to push the blood out to the body. And then it closes and stops that blood going back into the heart. So this is a valve that has to open and close every single time the heart beats. So with time, it wears down.
The procedure is usually done by inserting a catheter through the groin. Dr. KAKOUROS says doing it through the arm is also a great technique with minimal scarring and takes about an hour and a half.
They have a much faster recovery, they get up and about faster, and they go home faster.
Rolling Stones frontman Mick Jagger is recovering from a reported heart valve replacement surgery. Dr. KAKOUROS says people who are at risk for these problems are older men with high blood pressure.
It's a mechanical problem. There's no medication that will fix this problem. It's to replace it.
Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.